Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am your teacher Aisha Anwar. We have completed our two chapters. Chapter number 1, which is about operating system. Then we have covered chapter number 2, which is about system development life cycle. Today we are going to start third chapter, and this chapter is about object-oriented programming. In this chapter, we are going to start the programming language. This chapter contains the introduction of C++. From chapter number 3 till the end of your book, all chapter contains the content that is related to C++. So, if you miss any chapter or any concept, you won't be able to get the concepts that are coming in the upcoming chapters. You have to be very careful about it, and you must have clear your concepts. Okay students, let's start object-oriented programming in C++. Okay dear students, these are the objectives of chapter number 3. By the end of the chapter, we all will be able to define a program. We will all know about the header files and reserve words. We will know the structure of a C++ program. We will also know the use of statement, Terminator. Till these 4 points, today we are going to cover this. Chapter number 3 is a very lengthy chapter. You have to cover the content by learning on the task that is assigned to you at the end of the lecture. The students who have studied computer science in class 10th, all of them are familiar with C language. Students who have studied bio in grade 10 will be learning this language for the very first time. There is a very little difference between C and C++. If you know the C language, this chapter won't be very difficult for you. But the new learners, they don't have to be worried. We will be learning and explaining the things from the very beginning. Only the thing is, you will be needing more practice. Okay, first of all, C++ is a general purpose programming language. It is a type of high-level language. We all know that computer understands only two languages. One is low-level language and the other is high-level language. Low-level language is directly understandable by computer, but that language is difficult for human beings to learn. So human beings use high-level languages in order to communicate with computer. We give instructions in high-level languages, and the instructions written in high-level language are then translated into low-level language by the compiler. So C++ is a type of high-level language and it is a general purpose language. C++ was created in early 1980s at Bell Laboratories. Its main purpose was to make writing programs easier and more pleasant for the individual programmer. It supports modern programming techniques and it is commonly used for commercial software, games, and graphic-related programs. There are other languages, high-level languages are also available, but C++ is easier as compared to those languages. As this language supports modern programming techniques, so it is the base language. Once you learn C++, then it will be very easy for you to learn other programming languages. The students who are selected in BS Software Engineering or BS Computer Science, they will be studying other high-level languages also. But keep in mind, C++ is the base language for the understanding of the concepts of all other languages. So here, it is a chance for you to learn this language. If you learn it with your complete interest, then you will find it very easy. Using C++, we can develop commercial software. Commercial software means the softwares which are required by some organization or office or an industry, and we will sell its software. Then this software was C++ language is also used to develop some games and graphics related programs. Here we are using the word computer program or just a program. So what is a computer program? A computer program is basically the set of instructions that tells the computer what to do and how to do. Basically, a program performs a specific task, and that specific task tells the computer how to do something. Everything a computer does is controlled by a computer program. Even when we are switching on our computer and operating system is loading, it is also done with the help of a computer program. Even operating system is written in some type of high-level languages in the form of a program. Right now, I am using PowerPoint. It is also developed with the help of some computer languages. To record the lecture, I am using Zoom, and that software is also developed in some type of high-level languages. So everything is in computer is controlled by a computer program. Generally, programs are written in English-oriented high-level languages such as Visual Basic, Pascal, Java, C++, and so on. There are so many other computer languages are available. By learning those languages, we will be able to write a program and we will be able to create some type of software. So let's revise the definition of a computer program again. A computer program is a set of instructions that performs a specific task when executed by a computer. It means when we write a program, then that program is executed by a computer, and when it is executed, it performs some specific task. And this set of instruction tells the computer what to do, and it even tells how to do. As we have discussed earlier, a computer can only understand the instructions written in machine language, that is binary language. Machine language basically consists of only zeros and ones. So the programs which are written in high-level languages are translated into machine language before execution. So it means that there will be some sort of software that lies between the high-level language and the low-level language. That software which converts high-level languages into low-level languages is known as the compiler. It is just like that if I want to communicate with some Chinese person, how can I communicate with him? I know two languages, Urdu or English, and the Chinese person only knows the Chinese language. So what will I do? I will hire a language interpreter or a language translator, some person who knows both languages, Chinese and English. I will communicate my message to that language interpreter or language translator, and that language translator or interpreter will translate my message from English language into Chinese language. It is just like that. Compiler simply translates high-level language into low-level language so that computer can understand our program. So when a program is written in high-level language, that program is known as source code. And when this source code is converted into machine language, that converted code is known as the object code. The program, which is right now in high-level language before translation, is known as the source code, and after translation, we refer it as object code. So, after covering the concept of a program, we are going to discuss the structure of a C++ program. In previous lectures, I have shared two videos with you that were about downloading and installation of dev C++, and the second one in which I have explained how to use a dev C++. I hope all of you have watched those two videos carefully and have learned about some basics about dev C++. Dev C++ is a compiler used to write the programs in C++ language. And in the second video, we have also written a short program displaying a simple one message on the screen. If you have watched that lecture, you must be familiar with the structure of a C++ program. In that video, I have explained it already, but here I am going to repeat it. From exam point of view, this topic is very important. In short question answers, there is a very high chance of defining the structure of a C++ program. Okay, to understand the structure of a program, let's consider the following program that you can see on your screen. First statement is hash include iostream.h. This is the header file. iostream is the header file and .h is its extension. It shows that this .h shows that it is the header file. What is a header file? We are going to explain it in the next slide. Then number 2, it is written as void main and empty parenthesis. It is the main function. Every C program contains at least one main function. And when the execution starts, the control will goes to the main function and everything that is written inside the main function will be executed. If main function is missing from C++ program, it will give you an error message. You can try it by using dev C++. Just make comment the main function, or you can remove it and just try compiling and try executing it. Then you will be getting the complete understanding of this. This curly bracket is the start of a C++ program, or it is the start of a body of a C++ program. This curly bracket shows the start of a main function. After this curly bracket, all the statements that are written are known as the body of a C++ program. In this simple example, only one line is written, so our program contains only one line. This curly bracket is the end of a body or end of a C++ program. Everything that is written between these two curly brackets is considered as the computer program. Okay, the statement that is hash include. This is known as the preprocessor directive, and preprocessor directive is used to include the header files in the computer program. It is an easy topic, and these are the parts of a C++ program. Now, we are going to define header files and preprocessor directives. I have changed the sequence of this lecture from your book. The sequence of this lecture is different from your book in order to make the concepts more clear to you. Okay, as we have discussed that there are header files. So what are header files? Header files are basically containing the information that is required by the program in which these are used. Header files has the extension .h. For example, iostream.h, conio.h, and math.h. These files are included in the standard library of C++ compiler. There are some basic functions or statements that we use in our computer program, and those statements or functions resides inside the header files. For example, in this previous program, we have used a word cout. What is the purpose of this cout? This definition is stored in the header file iostream.h. So when we include iostream.h, our compiler will know that we are going to use the statements like cout and cin. What is a cin statement? We will study in the next lecture. So the header file contains the information which are required while writing the program. For example, I had to use cout statement. So to use cout statement, I had included iostream.h in the example that we have discussed. Similarly, some other header files are also available, and we will study them in the next topics. The next is Preprocessor Directive. As you can see that this hash include indicates that it is a preprocessor directive. And what is a preprocessor directive? Preprocessor directive is used to include a header file at the beginning of a program. So it means that header files are written in the start of a program, and they are always started with the symbol hash and the keyword include. Preprocessor directives are not normal program instructions. It is basically a code for the compiler to include a header file. All the statements that are written with hash include, so our processor or our compiler automatically knows that this instruction is for the compiler. So the compiler understands the instruction and include the respective header files which are mentioned. The syntax of preprocessor directive to include a header file is we use hash, then the reserve word include, and within this angle brackets, we write the name of a header file. Just like in previous example, hash include iostream.h, or we can also write it as hash include conio.h or maths.h. We can include more than one header files in a single program. If I have to include 3 header files in a program, I will be writing the 3 preprocessor directives, each preprocessor directive for one header file. If I have to include iostream and conio and maths.h at the same time, we will write hash include iostream.h. In the next line, I will write hash include conio.h, and in the third line, I will be writing hash include math.h. So what is iostream.h? The effect of this line is to copy all the contents of iostream.h header file into the program and make them available for use. When we will write iostream.h, all the content of this file is attached with the program, and we will be able to use all the content. Then maths.h header file contains code for performing mathematical functions such as square root of any specific number. The next one is statement terminator. If you have noticed that at the end of a cout statement, I have used a semicolon. This semicolon is known as the statement terminator. Every statement in C++ program must end with a semicolon. This semicolon is known as the statement terminator. If this semicolon is missing, the compiler will give the syntax error and also display the message that semicolon is missing. There are some specific statements which are not followed by the semicolon, but in most of the statements of C++, we use semicolon at the end. So this semicolon is known as the statement terminator. This semicolon shows that this is the end of the statement, and after this there will be a next statement. So here is your today's task. You have to write down a simple program on page which will display a message, welcome to C++, and you have to label the parts of a program. If you will be able to mention all the parts of a program, this will reflect that you have learned the structure of a C++ program. That's all for today. If still you are having any confusion, send your queries. Thank you.